our conversations will be centered around vaccines, because remember, now as cases have started to dip, it is very, very important that all of us get ourselves vaccinated, our families vaccinated, our neighborhoods are vaccinated, every one of us is vaccinated, because that now is the only way out of this pandemic. The Prime Minister yesterday announced a mega vaccination drive starting June the 21st, where the centre will be leading now in procurement and distribution of all vaccines. But let me introduce our entire panel of guests that is going to be taking a lot of your questions live right now. Dr. Naman Bansal is the Managing Director at the Bansal Hospital in the National Capital, joining us live right now. Dr. Virender Singh Chauhan is the former Chairman of the UGC and former Director of the International Centre for Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology, on the broadcast again from Delhi. Dr. Zahir Virani is a nephrologist and he's a member of the Maharashtra Task Force, and we will also be joined with Dr. Alok Rai, who's the chairman of the Medica Group of Hospitals from Kolkata, in just a bit. A very good evening to all of you gentlemen. Let's start with Dr. Naman Bansal. Dr. Bansal sir, we've heard something extremely important yesterday from the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister said we need to now focus on ensuring that our numbers continue to remain low. And what is the best way out of, sir? Do you believe that vaccines now really hold the key? How fast can we get our entire population vaccinated? Do you think that is going to be the key to how India fares the rest of the pandemic?
Yes. There are, from what all we have seen so far, there are only two ways to get through COVID. One is either you get COVID itself, or the other is you get the vaccine. So we welcome this change from the Prime Minister yesterday. There is a clear intent on the part of the Prime Minister, and as long as the intent is there, we will be able to achieve our targets. So as people are predicting, wherein in October or in December, it is expected that a third wave might hit us. I think the vaccination should be, started on a very major level. And we should aim for the vulnerable population as well as a major chunk of the population to get vaccinated in the next coming 2-3 months.
Okay, we're putting that question that will vaccines be free even in the private hospital? If not, what's the cap on the price? This is something that was discussed, Dr. Zahir Virani. The Prime Minister actually spoke about this. He spoke about the cap on vaccines, and I think that is also important, because somewhere the private hospitals, sir, are a very important part of this entire vaccination drive. We've seen a lot of people actually going to their centers to get themselves vaccinated.
So the cost of the vaccine will depend on which vaccine you're taking. So there will be a cost difference between the Covaxin, the Covishield and the Sputnik vaccine. And once we get the Moderna and Pfizer, those also the cost will differ. What was announced yesterday was that the private hospitals will not be allowed to charge more than rupees 150 as service fees. But apart from that, the cost of the vaccine will be fixed by the government.
Okay, and why don't you push that point a little further? Now, I want to know today that, even right now, like in Delhi, different private hospitals have their own rates when it comes to Covishield. Not many of them actually have Covaxin as a first dose, but they have their own charges. You walk into a private hospital, they give you different heads and they actually create a bill, as per their liking. Do you think that is allowed? That should be allowed?
So that is an administrative decision which is going to be taken by the government officials. As a doctor, it's not my prerogative to tell them what they should do. And as far as a doctor is concerned, we should just tell them not to procrastinate and just vaccinate. How they're going to vaccinate the population, what is going to be the price bracket, that is again a government decision to be taken.
Okay, fair
if
point.
You see
but let me then get in Dr. Chauhan. Yes, complete your point, sir.
So on the same question,
if you see that,
sorry, you have a question, or should I just take the same question?
Dr. Chauhan, if I just interrupt you for a minute, the BMC had fixed the rates for hospitals and beds for the ICU and COVID care, and a similar pattern can be followed for the vaccination itself. That's what I wanted to just complete my point.
So let me just take the question once again.
Okay, and a lot of people also.
there is a short history of vaccination in the word for COVID. It's only 4 to 5 months old history. In India, if all of you remember, all the vaccination, the government made all precaution and all the exercise initially only in the government run whatever institution, hospitals or outlets or whatever. It's only when we realized, or it was, I wouldn't say government realized, I think it was realized that private sector could play a very important role in vaccination, given the scale at which you needed to vaccinate. So it was then decided to bring in vaccination process in the private sector. This is not privatization of a vaccination. I think this distinction, I had made it earlier, this must be made very, very strongly. It is not privatization of vaccination. It is involvement of private sector, which private sector came to CII and everybody said that this will be a good idea. And on the whole, it's a good idea. So I think we get it confused about what should be the cost, what should not be all over the world so far. The little that I follow vaccination. Governments have procured the vaccines everywhere, whether it's America or France or England or wherever, and has distributed and wherever they could distribute. And then this is public good policy, so you don't charge public for it. In India, however, there were voices that, those who can afford to pay, why should they pay? And that will be less expenditure of government. And that discussion is already over. Now, if a certain part of society chooses to go, not to do a government hospital, and I think there's a fraction of society which will be happy to go to Max or Apollo or whatever private sector, or in any small town in a private sector, then you make a payment. That payment is the cost at the outlet is already fixed. Now, government yesterday has said that you can't charge, because we've been hearing you can get vaccination for 1,400, somewhere you can get for 1,300, somewhere for 1,100. I hope what happens post 21st, I think that capping of what extra money that you can charge is 150. Hopefully, the public at large would also know what is the cost of vaccine at which the hospital is procuring. So these are no distinctions, and when you go to X hospital, you pay more, Y hospital, you pay less. I hope that will be clear very soon. But the fact that the government is going to procure and distribute 75% of the vaccine is a great idea. This is the only way to do. To my mind, there is no option. Over to you.
I think that's a fair point, but because Dr. Naman Bansal is a managing director, sir, at the Bansal Hospital, so let's take that administrative question also from him. Because Dr. Bansal, one of our viewers wants to know that yours also being a private hospital, now what steps will you ensure that guidelines are followed? Because at the end of it, remember, it's just not about vaccinating those who have the money to be able to, walk into a private center, get themselves vaccinated. We have to ensure that more and more people, more and more legible people are getting their jabs. So how will you also do that? How will you contribute to that fight?
Yes. So when vaccination initially started, the cost of one shot was fixed at 250 rupees. Out of this 250, 150 was the cost of the vaccine. It was the cost at which we procured the vaccine from the government, and 100 rupees was charged by the hospital. So for 250 rupees, either it was Covishield or it was Covaxin, the vaccine was being given. So right now, ever since 1st of May, when the vaccination was open for all, at that point of time, the hospitals were made to procure Covishield for 600 rupees a dose and Covaxin for 900 rupees a dose. So because of that, the cost of the vaccine itself also increased, and the private hospitals, they started adding a fee above it. Some are giving Covishield for 900, some are giving Covishield for 1,000. Hospitals are even conducting camps, on-site camps, wherein they are charging 1,500, 1,800 per dose, as per the convenience of the corporates or as per the convenience of the individuals. Now, what this does is, this creates a certain bias. I think me as a private hospital, I would be much happy if we can directly procure the vaccine from the government itself and charge a nominal fee of say 100 rupees or 150 rupees as fixed by PM Modi yesterday that so at least the vaccine will be available to all. The system initially was very good. The proper cold chain was maintained. The government just gave us a bank account number wherein we used to transfer the money and they used to send us the vaccine. So it was as simple as that. Right now it is a lot more complicated. There are other people also involved in the middle. So it just complicates the whole process. So as a private hospital, we would be much happier if it directly came from the government and we charge only say 150 or 100 rupees extra above the costing.
I don't know, Dr. Bansal, I just beg to differ on that because, it's a public good and we have seen what private hospitals are capable of. If they really want, they can actually pitch in such a great way in this fight, and I hope that we have more hospitals actually doing that good and, not looking at profit margins. But let me tell you, a lot of private hospitals aren't doing that because this is a viewer complaint, a viewer feedback, Dr. Virani, that we keep getting. I also want to welcome Dr. Alok Roy, who's the chairman of the Medica Group of Hospitals, who joins us right now here on the broadcast. Dr. Roy, sir, I hope you can hear me, and this is an entire conversation about vaccines, where we are not just talking about what the Prime Minister said yesterday, but the implications and the road ahead, sir. So, Dr. Roy, sir, why don't you tell us what our viewer wants to know about vaccine mixing? Though this is something that the government says it's still in study, but what is it that you have read and studied about it so far? Like, if you've taken a dose of Covishield, a lot of people in Delhi say that, they want to take a Covaxin as a second dose, or if a Covaxin dose right now is not available, they say, can we go for Covishield? What would you suggest, sir?
Actually, it's a very interesting question, and a lot of people are talking about it, thinking about it. And what we have read, that the very interesting thing we have read, that if you mix up both vaccines, then probably the immunity improves and it gives a higher immunity. That was very interesting. Though it is not recommended, but probably it will come soon, especially those who have taken similar type of vaccines. Like there are different kinds of vaccines, mRNA vaccine, some vaccine where you use adenovirus of chimpanzee, like in Covishield. In Covaxin, you use a dead virus or part of sequence of virus. In Sputnik, you use one part of virus first time, then second time you use second part of virus. So in case if you use two different vaccines, the immunity level may be higher, but that needs a more study and to have a very conclusive statement and very conclusive proof that it works better. Otherwise, it's good to stick to the same vaccine.
Okay, I think you've given a short but a very specific answer to that, because this is, I think, what we also heard from Dr. V.K. Paul, Dr. Virani, that, these are studies in progress, and unless there is a conclusive evidence, they said, do not mix your jabs. So I think that is again and again something that we would want to reiterate, that please listen to our doctors, please listen to science, because that's the only way we can get out of this pandemic. So Dr. Virani, let's bring the next question. Now, you must have heard and seen this story very often being played out. This is about, students who want to apply for foreign universities or, who have jobs outside. A lot of countries, like the US itself, now they are saying that unless you are inoculated with a particular vaccine, like in their case in the US, it's Pfizer, Moderna or J&J, unless and until you are inoculated with only these three vaccines, they say you cannot, be a part of a campus. And they say that the students then will have to get themselves revaccinated with either of these three doses. What should such students do? What would you suggest to them, Dr. Virani?
So basically, every country has recognized certain vaccines, and the WHO also has recognized certain vaccines. This is based on trial data. So unless you have phase 3 trial data in public domain, which is peer reviewed, you are not recognized. As far as the US is concerned, they do recognize the AstraZeneca vaccine. So and which is available to us. So the students who are traveling from India to the US can easily take the AstraZeneca vaccine, which is the Covishield vaccine. To just go back to your previous question, there is a trial with the AstraZeneca vaccine, the Covishield vaccine and the Pfizer vaccine, which has been done. So that mix and match trial is there. So if one has to consider about mixing and mixing vaccines, then one can consider that part of it. But as far as travel is concerned, at present, it is the Covishield vaccine if you want to go to the US or the UK. With time, once all the data is out, I am sure the Covaxin and the Sputnik vaccine also will be accepted. So it's just a matter of time. And once the data is out, I'm sure WHO will and the other foreign countries will recognize these vaccines as well.
Okay, and why doesn't Dr. Chauhan, push that point a little further? Because Dr. Chauhan, sir,
let me just
you are also speaking
Yeah.
as a scientist, sir.
Yeah, so let me just clarify this. FDA has approved only 3 vaccines. They haven't approved 4 vaccines. They've approved Moderna, Pfizer. So 2 questions here. One is what US has approved. They've approved only 3 so far. Today, as I speak with you, they are stalling Johnson & Johnson for some other reason, but that's not the question right now. Covishield, although the trials have been done and the data is still sitting with the FDA, the trials done in Peru, Chile, and US, 30,000 people, still till today, as I speak with you, they have not approved Covishield. So AstraZeneca in USA is still not being rolled out. So that's the point I want to make clear. I'm sure as we go forward, university will figure it out because if they want Indian students or students from this part of the world, they ought not to be differentiating between because this unnecessarily creates confusion in people's mind and increased vaccine hesitancy. I'm sure that this will be sorted out in time to come. WHO has approved 5 vaccines. 6th one was approved about a week back. That was the second Chinese vaccine. The other question of mixing or matching of vaccine is there are 4 platforms which are being developed. One is RNA platform. The other is you use a viral vector. In this case, all of them have used adenovirus vector, one kind or the other. The third one is you use the time-tested killed virus as inactivated virus. 4th one, which yet not come, much to my surprise, Novavax, which is the protein one. If you mix and match in the same platform, it makes no sense. Although Sputnik and AstraZeneca are going to do some trial, but it just will not make sense if you use the same platform. Across the platform, there seems to be some data. Covishield, followed by Pfizer, gives you slightly better immunity. Large-scale trials haven't been done. My own suggestion would be don't mix and match unless there is a strong reason to do so. But if and when you mix and match, it must be across the platform. And those either data needs to be produced in population where we're going to vaccinate. I'll just take 5 more seconds. If you do mix and matching within the platform, that is adenovirus, it just won't make any sense. Both have the same backbone, both have the same S protein. It just won't make sense. So that chance ought not to be taken. But science needs to be driven by data. And we have scanty data from Spain and some data from UK. In India, I don't see any reason for mixing and matching right now. Back to you.
Oh yes, and I think we must reinforce that message again and again to all our viewers that you should not mix any of your dosages till you hear the government and the health ministry actually saying that it is more effective. Till then, if you have taken doses of Covaxin, stick to that, and if you've taken Covishield, please ensure that your next dosage is also Covishield. But Dr. Alok Roy, one more important question is about Covaxin. Now, Covaxin again is still awaiting a WHO approval. Right now, a lot of people back home here in the country have taken Covaxin. They also want to know that, how soon can we be looking at a WHO approval? What is the process? How long does that take, Dr. Roy?
I was there in a few days back, 2-3 days back, in a meeting where with the WHO representative, and I was told that time, maybe 4 days back, that they have not even applied to WHO. So it all depends. As soon as they apply, if they have applied, they would be getting very soon, because now nobody is delaying. Emergency approval is coming forward very fast, but they got to apply first.
Okay, so you're telling us that you actually have knowledge that they still haven't applied. But tell me something, Covaxin has already, sir, also started trials for children back home here in India. Now again, this is going to be one segment that really has to be protected. You know, today I heard in that press briefing, Dr. Randeep Guleria again asserting that if and when a third wave comes, he says, in fact, he was allaying fears, Dr. Roy, and he said that it is not important that kids will be hit, you know, as perhaps there are a lot of reports, because he says this is again not something supported by science. So what is your reading, what is your assessment and advice to everyone watching this broadcast about the third wave, and how should all of us, including the kids, deal with it?
I hope that what they're saying is right. What Dr. Guleria is saying is right. But whatever the indication we are getting, we haven't got the wave, so I don't want to scare anybody. But children are coming in who were not coming in earlier. Those numbers are very, very small and very, very minuscule. So what I would like to say to everyone, all those children who are at home and parents, then take precaution. None of us saw the first wave coming, none of us saw the second wave coming. And saying that third wave would not come would be avoiding taking a huge risk. Please avoid it, take all possible precautions. And if we have vaccine, let's vaccinate the children to above 12 years.
Yes, but that is only once we hear from the government saying that a trial has been successful, though there is every indication, Dr. Virani, that should happen. Now, one question is also coming in from those who've been infected with COVID, you know, because I think this was said earlier in the broadcast that right now we have two sets of people, those who've been infected and those who've not. Now, those who've not are looking at an immunity that is going to be coming from a vaccine. But what about those, Dr. Virani, who've been infected with COVID? Now, for how long do studies say that a natural immunity actually lasts? And how soon can such, people actually go in for their first jab or their second jab?
So I'll take the second part of your question first. The second part of your question is how soon they can be vaccinated, and that is 3 months after they've got the infection. As far as how long immunity lasts, actually they have documented antibody response till up to 9 months to even a year. But just because your antibody response isn't there, that doesn't mean you will not mount an immune response if you're infected with SARS-CoV-2. This is subject to, obviously, there not being variants of concern. If there are variants of concern or there is a Delta variant, then you might get reinfected. So people have got infected multiple times after getting their first infection. So best is that anybody who's got infected should get vaccinated after 3 months of their infection.
Okay, but that was also because, Dr. Virani, I think because of shortages, because the WHO recommends 4 to 6 weeks. So was India, at one point. I mean, just 10 seconds on that clarification, if possible, please.
You can take it anytime after 2 months, basically. It's not only a matter of, basically when we got our first shots, there must be a lot of people who had got the infection and didn't even know about it. So you might have actually got the infection 14 days ago and taken your shot. There were instances in the first place where people went for a vaccine and after 5 to 7 days, they got SARS-CoV-2. So they felt that the vaccine was giving it, where in fact they were actually infected maybe at the same time when they were getting the shot. But 2 to 3 months, anytime between 2 to 3 months should be okay. This is an evolving science. There is no, what might be right today might be wrong tomorrow. So at present, if you ask from a medical standpoint, 2 to 3 months is a safe time to get vaccinated after you get infected.
All right, a lot of more questions, but only for want of time. I'm thanking Dr. Naman Bansal, Dr. Chauhan, Dr. Alok Roy, Dr. Virani. Thank you, gentlemen, for your wisdom, for your patience, and for your time here on Republic. And as always, we tell our viewers, only and only listen to your doctors, follow science, ensure that you follow COVID-appropriate behavior, because that's the only way that we can end this pandemic. Thank you for your time. We are back on the other side with lots more.